The mom or parents can't afford to have a baby right now. She's too young and doesn't have the means right now to raise a child. The baby was conceived because of rape. The baby has a birth defect or might have a mental handicap. All of these are very difficult circumstances, and they all require some hard decisions and painful emotions. But are they a good enough reason to say, what's the big deal about abortion? The issue of abortion often gets confusing because we see it as a preference issue instead of a moral issue. It's often said, you can't tell a woman what to do with her body, my choice. Or something like, well, I wouldn't have an abortion, but I can't tell others what is right for them. And that's true, that everyone can have preferences and do what they prefer, but not if it's an issue of morality. You see, when it comes to morality, we tell people what to do with their body all of the time when we say, you can't murder, steal, or rape. You can do whatever you'd like with your body until you hurt or harm another human. And abortion is a moral issue. The question comes down to, is abortion right or wrong? And whether it's right or wrong is not dependent on personal circumstances, no matter how difficult those circumstances may be for the mother or the family. So is abortion morally wrong? And how do we know? Well, it actually comes down to a simpler question. What is the unborn? You see, oftentimes abortion is justified because of the assumption that the unborn is not human like the rest of us. But is that true? You see, many fail to look at the easily accessible research that answers this important question. When you look into this question, you'll find that all of the science out there points to the fact that the human life begins at conception. It is agreed upon across the board by biologists and embryologists that the unborn, from the moment they're conceived, they're defined as a living, distinct, and whole human being. Though reliant on the mother, they are a completely separate human. Science does point to the fact that at conception, it is a living human baby, not just a clump of cells or a clump of tissue. The question for many then becomes, does this tiny unborn baby have the same value and worth as a born human? And you see where we get that question wrong is when we determine human value based on the qualities and functions of that human. We start to say, well, it's microscopic in size, it's living inside of another human, and it's unable to function on its own yet, so it doesn't matter or have the same value as a born human. But you see, a human's value is not dependent on the size of them, how developed they are, or how independent they are. Humans have what's called intrinsic value, meaning our value is based on what we are, not how we function. You are a human, therefore you matter. An unborn baby has no less worth than a born baby. And you see, if I had a 3-year-old child and I said, I just don't have the means to support this child right now, or this child is getting in the way of me pursuing my goals and my dreams, or even this 3-year-old child was conceived because of rape, I should go ahead and just end its life. You wouldn't say to me, well, that's your choice, go ahead. No, you would say that is wrong. So we know that 1, human life begins at conception, and 2, all humans have intrinsic value and worth. Therefore, it's just as wrong to kill an unborn baby as it is to kill a 3-year-old. Abortion is not a question of what you prefer, but one of what is right or wrong. And I would encourage you, if you haven't looked more into these questions or research that we talked about today, please take this topic seriously, because this issue of abortion is a big deal.
If you want to learn more about this topic and many others, or about our cost-free stint internship, visit toddbecker.org/stint.